Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
From Japan to France, Giorgi Isakadze will be guiding us in our next interview again, and we will be highlighting AFD Group for you, which funds, supports and accelerates the transition to a fairer and more sustainable world, focusing on climate, biodiversity, peace, education, urban development, health and governance. AFD teams carry out more than 4,000 projects in France's overseas departments and territories and another 115 countries. In this way, AFD contributes to the commitment of France and the French people to support the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. More specifically on Georgia, AFD Group supports Georgia's commitment to combat climate change by promoting a fair and inclusive transition and its convergence path with the EU. AFD Group has been operating in Georgia since 2012 in the sectors of regional connectivity, energy, agriculture, water resources management and human development. As a member of Team Europe, AFD Group operates through sovereign and non-sovereign operations to support reforms and infrastructure development, and through Proparco for the private sector and Expertise France for technical cooperation projects. AFD's main action in Georgia encompasses building sustainable and inclusive economic and political models, sustainable management of territories and preservation of natural resources, supporting urban adaptations and fostering the energy transition. The main numbers so far: 11 projects financed in Georgia since 2019, 715 million euro commitments since 2019, 80 million euro financing provided to the private sector, 44,000 beneficiaries with improved access to drinking water in Khashuri municipality. More on AFD Georgia cooperation we'll get to know from this interview.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Giorgi Isakadze, and this is BMG TV. It's the only existing and, trust me, quite well developing business TV channel in Georgia. So, not only in Georgia and region, by region I mean South Caucasus countries, and this point will be much important in conversation with my guest, but let me go back to him a bit later. So, today we will be talking about AFD Group, which implements France's policy in the areas of development and international solidarity, let me say so. And the group includes agency itself, AFD, which finances the public sector, and NGOs, also Proparco, which is dedicated to private sector financing and Expertise France, a technical cooperation agency. The group finances, supports and accelerates transitions towards a fairer, more resilient world with its partners present in more than 115 countries through grants, loans, reserve fund or debt reducing and development contracts. AFD funds projects, programs and studies and supports its partners in capacity building. AFD also funds and assists projects and programs that support more sustainable and shared economic growth, improve the living conditions of the people, contribute to the preservation of the planet and help to stabilize countries that are fragile or recovering from crisis. The AFD agency, based in Tbilisi, was opened in 2016, and it covers 3 countries, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. And Georgia, AFD finances development projects under Green and Inclusive Growth mandate. It operates mainly the sectors of urban and rural development, infrastructure, water, irrigation, its renewable energies, social protection, and health. So considerably, that's the reason why I wanted to interview the representative of AFD office. And before starting the conversation, let me brief you who is in charge and who is the head of AFD regional office for the South Caucasus. His name is Raphael Jozan, graduated from Agro Paris Tech. Dr. Raphael Jozan is a French state engineer specialized in the territorial planning, the management of natural resources, and the conception and evaluation of environmental policies. He started his career as a research fellow It was in École de Paris Tech and working with various consulting firms, international organizations, and governments. Personally, Raphael joined the French Development Agency, AFD team, in 2008 as an advisor to the chief economist and executive director of the strategy department. Since August 2015, he had been the head of the representative regional office for Central Asia, based in Tashkent, and since September 2020, he was as the Director General of AFD Regional Office for the South Caucasus countries. So, Raphael, thank you for your time and glad to host you in our BMG office.
Hello, Giorgi.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I think I covered most of activities of...
Yes, you said everything.
No,
actually.
I'm not sure about that, but definitely, it's your first appearance through the global media, and at the same time, I really want to come up with some ideas and thoughts. How do you evaluate these 10 years of AFD being in our region and especially in Georgia?
You say that AFD is implementing the French development strategy. It's half of the story, because if AFD is working in Georgia, it's because the two governments, the Georgian government and the French government, they decided in 2012 to expand the cooperation between the two countries. And we have a shared mandate, which is the climate change and which is the EU convergence. This is the two main mandates that we have. And this is the shared mandate that we have between the Georgians and the French people. It was decided in 2012 that AFD would be operating here. Then in 2015, the two countries have signed the Paris Agreement. To fight against the climate change. And as you know, also this association agreement between EU and Georgia is also the main driver, and it is entering into force in 2016. And this is the two main drivers in our operations in Georgia. Then it's a shared mandate, it's a shared decision, and it's not only the policy of French government that we are implementing. It is, as you said, we are implementing several instruments. AFD is actually a public bank financing the government's projects and the reforms. We have also Proparco financing the private sector, and as you said, Expertise France. And in total, since 2016, because the first operation is 2016, we have engaged 750 million euros of financing for supporting the development of Georgia, which is quite significant. And back in 2021, we have this framework agreement, partnership agreement between AFD and the government of Georgia. And we have this commitment to engage additional 150 million euros per year for the support of Georgia with these two main mandates, which is the EU convergence and also the fight against climate change.
Raphael, while going back to the vision and strategy in general of AFD, can you clarify for us that something very important has happened in 2012, and it was based on values, which was the most engagement between two governments, like Georgian and France government, while deciding to go forward?
Yes, it's shared values. Then we have this ultimate goal. And then the thing, and this, what we do is implementing, is doing together. What we know is that we have these shared values, which is a goal, but then the road is not written in advance. We have to write it together, to create together what will be the road for implementing this Paris Agreement, for also accessing the EU. and the EU convergence. Then we work together with the Georgian government, with the Georgian experts, and AFD is actually a vehicle for enhancing the dialogue between the French experts, the French civil servants and the Georgian experts, the Georgian civil servants, and we built together the instruments for implementing these values that we share. What we do is supporting the institutions, the reforms, and we know that Georgia is a reformer, and it's not only the reforms and the institutions, it's also investing in the people, investing in the services, in the infrastructure. And what we do with the government is finding this right balance between the reforms, the institutions, the rules to play, and also the service to the people, to the citizens. And we have been working in several sectors: energy, the water and sanitation, also the health, and we will do more with the irrigation, water resources management, and also the infrastructure. And another thing that I want to underline is that we are part of a whole system of development partners. We work together with the other development partners. Of course, the Europeans,
like?
but also like KfW,
okay.
the EU, this European Investment Bank or EBRD, but also the multilaterals like the World Bank, ADB, Asian Development Bank. We are part of this whole group of development partners working together with Georgia, supporting Georgia to achieve its values, to achieve its goals. And then when we do the reform, of course, we work together with the experts from all over the world, sharing the expertise together with the Georgian experts in the government. We also provide some investments for several cities, but of course, there must be an overall investment in the overall country. AFD is engaged, for instance, in the water and sanitation for Khashuri city. This is the city where we bring our financing, but there are also other cities that are supported by the other development partners, and we're working in a coordinated way with development partners.
This is a part of this 750 million euros, which were spent and invested during this period,
exactly.
Correct?
The Khashuri project, yes, it is part of the 750 million euros. It's co-financed with the European Union, which is financing some of the investments, but also for some of the expertise. There are also some other investments that we are preparing now with the Zemo-Samgori irrigation scheme. It's a particular irrigated scheme that we are financing, or preparing to finance also with the European Union, with the EIB, European Investment Bank, and also in coordination with ADB, Asian Development Bank.
Raphael, while covering all three countries, I mean, there are definitely some similarities, there are some difference in these regards. I'm talking about South Caucasus countries, but besides these similarities and differences, are you supporting regional integration as well? Is it also a part of AFD vision and mandate?
Absolutely. I would say that the starting point is working together with the countries. We had engaged the exchanges with the Georgian government, and Georgia engaged in parallel the support to Armenia, and in parallel also Azerbaijan. But more and more, we understand that it's not only three countries, it's a whole region, especially after the second war in the Karabakh and the ceasefire agreement. There is this need and this will expressed by the three countries to work together, to find shared solutions, to build solutions together. We have been engaged in parallel in the three countries in several sectors, for instance, the railway in Azerbaijan and in Georgia, in the water resources management in Armenia and Georgia. And we understand that more and more the three countries are facing regional aspects of the sectors. And we want also to be a leverage for implementing and increasing the regional integration. I think this is also the shared values of
Absolutely.
Europe, and this we implement not only the French strategy of development, but also the European strategy. And with the three countries, they have this Eastern Partnership and also this economic and investment plan. And the economic and investment plan in the neighboring countries is all about more integration. Not only, but I say all about, it's mostly integration between the countries and also the connection between the countries and EU.
While moving to the challenges of Georgia and region for 2023, I really want to speak about the basic achievements. You're a part of the most important mandate. I'm talking about EU integration, which is the biggest challenge for Georgia right nowadays. How can we evaluate how Georgia is doing and moving forward, and where they can rely on AFD and others as reliable partners on the way, as you have mentioned, that nobody can instruct how to move forward. We've got to ride this route together.
I think this EU agenda is a huge agenda, and it's a very long process. It's a long process, and as I said, the road to this EU is not written in advance. Of course, there is this goal. There is this association agreement which defines some specific goals and measures and some other requirements. But in the end, it's all about finding the way, and this is what we do together with the government of Georgia. And what is striking with the government of Georgia is how much it is drawing long-standing path, transitional path of reforms. I take the example of the energy. We have been supporting the reform of the energy sector since 2018.
Okay.
As you know, Georgia is part of the European Energy Community since 2017, and we have written together with the government, together with KfW, our German partner, and also EU, an overall matrix, an overall path, transitional path for reaching the requirements for of this energy community, and also of the opening of the market. It's a very long process.
You're talking about opening electricity market, etc., and all
Absolutely,
the reforms.
which is to be, it has been announced for 2023.
Yeah, correct.
But it has been prepared already for 5 years. And I must say that there are still some question marks. We are working together with the government for making it possible, the opening of the electricity market in 2022 and 2023. I take another example of the water resources management. There are also some requirements of these association agreements to align to certain requirements of the Water Framework Directive of the European Union. And we are building together with ADB, with the European Investment Bank, also a transitional path for reaching these new institutions where water will be managed within these river basins, with some new institutions that will increase the democracy of water resource management and also the efficiency of water use and water consumption.
My last question, but not least, is about 2023, as I mentioned, which definitely is going to be key in the relationship with European Union. I'm talking about the candidacy agenda itself, what we're trying to follow. Major challenges from your personal point of view as a head of the regional office for 2023.
I think every year is key in this process.
And every
but
year
it's not
is
to
crucial.
contradict you.
Yeah.
It's not
No.
to contradict you.
It's true.
But as I said, it's an overall process. But what we see is the acceleration. It's the acceleration of the agenda, the acceleration of the candidacy to access the European Union. The turbulent environment also. And we see that we need more flexibility. We need to adapt to these new challenges, to the new requirements of the government. They want to accelerate. We are here to accelerate and propose the services to reach the targets that are defined by the Georgian government in this overall process. What is to be considered is that, yes, there is this EU accession agenda, but there is also the other development challenges that we are facing today, the food security, energy security, this connectivity with the EU also is absolutely key. Then we see that there are some more and more challenges that should be faced and addressed now directly. The great chance of Georgia is that Georgia has been preparing this process for so long that it's mostly a matter of taking the right decision now for implementing the reforms that were prepared during the last 5 years. Then we have to fine-tune the institutions, work together with the civil society, with the business community, with the other development partners, and we believe that AFD can be a right partner for enabling this overall process.
We have some fantastic decisions for this period and for, resuming of our conversation, like the latest development in energy cooperation, which was launched by European Union and which was preliminarily signed by 4 countries: Georgia, Azerbaijan, it was Romania, and it was Hungary. And everything relates to those reforms and to those agenda, which was launched by your agency and other counterparts. I'm talking about simplification and opening of the electricity market, which is going to be key and crucial for further development of the generation. So due to some unexpected situation what we face after 24th of February of this year, this is becoming more and more crucial. I think this will open some new challenges and some new possibilities for Georgia as well, which was also confirmed by President Ursula von der Leyen.
Yes, there are some agreements. We see that as several actors, stakeholders of the region signing an agreement with European states, then we see that it's actually what I say, this mandate, this EU mandate is a shared mandate. It's not only a mandate defined by the Europeans. Europe, the future of Europe, is also defined by those who have this European aspiration and the neighbors of the Europe. It's key. And we see that, yes, there is this agreement. There will be some reforms to be engaged in each country and between the countries. And also, and I think this agreement between the countries you're speaking about is also about some infrastructure.
Yeah,
infrastructure
sure.
with connectivity with the undersea Black Sea cable to connect Georgia
with
the South Caucasus with the European grid, which is not the case today, and that could be the future. And but I think that before that, because this is a long-standing infrastructure project that could happen maybe 10, 15 years, to be prepared now, and the government of Georgia is actually working on it, investing on the feasibility studies financed by the World Bank. The opening of the market, this is what we think, and what the government think will also accelerate the investment in Georgia of new capacities, new generation capacities, of renewable energies with the hydropower plant. And we think that this opening of the market will enable this competitive environment for further and larger capacity development in Georgia.
I hope that for the beginning of the spring, I think it was May of the 1st when it was announced that it's going to be opened finally. I mean, all the things regarding energy and electricity market is going to be done for sure, and it will implement absolutely the new stage for the further development. Thank you so much, Rafael, for your time.
Thank you very much.
I hope that we will cover your activities in the future as well.
Excellent. Thank you for hosting me and for the conversation we had.
Good luck to you. Good luck to AFD. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.